the 2008 report that was leaked to Reuters, where the Bush administration had the plan floated by them by McChrystal to launch commando raids on the nuclear launch sites and nuclear weapons program of Pakistan. And, I mean, they've got to know that those forces would be destroyed. They've got to know that's impossible, so that would be a sacrificial gambit with a pawn to have Pakistan crush that pawn and then say we must avenge our troops. I mean, McChrystal was not insane, and Petraeus is not insane. They have to know that Pakistan has a giant, heavily trained military, and that those nuclear bases are heavily guarded, and that it would be a suicide mission. I mean, is this what they're trying to gear up for, or how else are they planning to try to start World War III?
Well, if they try to come in, they will have to attack almost 100 places in Pakistan, not at once, because Pakistan's nuclear assets are spread out. We have always been suspicious of America's design against our nuclear assets, and therefore we have taken good care of it, and our command control system is very good. If they have gotten encouraged because of their raid on Abbottabad, on so-called Osama's compound, and they think that they can repeat it against our nuclear weapons also, I think there could be nothing more harebrained than this particular idea. The sooner they disabuse themselves of this notion, the better it is for all of us.
Well, they're openly floating for now 3 years special forces attacks on giant Pakistani military bases. I mean, you guys have gone to war with India, fighting a much larger force and basically beat them and backed them off. I mean, they're really asking. I mean, this is insane. Clearly, they know it's going to fail. Do you agree with me that that could be a plan to then say we must avenge the American soldiers that died on the raids? Because we know they're not going to succeed. I mean, if they go in, it's a suicide. Trying to go into heavily fortified bunker military bases with helicopters.
Not only that, they will not succeed and they will suffer a lot of casualties. But after that, withdrawal from Afghanistan will become virtually impossible. There is no Gulf of Tonkin adjoining Afghanistan where they could ferry their troops by helicopters to the waiting ships in the Gulf of Tonkin. Here they will have to go through Pakistan, and what will happen then is anybody's guess, and I can assure you we will come full throttle as far as the American withdrawal is concerned. Then this will become an impossibility. So they better not harbor these ideas. They have to withdraw. They have to provide relief to their own people. They are suffering because of economic deficit and shortfalls. They have to take care of the health problems, the healthcare, etc. We know the problem that America is suffering. So why now open another front? I don't know what has gone wrong. I think there is some very, very dark impulse which is driving them to this madness.
Well, yes, they want to open this up as a front to, I guess, entice China in. A lot of our inside sources say the insane elite that run our system are contemplating having a nuclear war with Russia and China right now, and that they just plan to trigger the whole thing in Pakistan. That's what a lot of our high-level sources are saying, General Gul. In closing, you talked to a lot of the Pakistani elite. You know, you're a 3-star general, retired, former head of Pakistani intelligence, highly respected. You're all over international TV, not just Pakistan television. What are the Pakistani elite saying? Because from what I've seen, this is getting them out of the ambivalent, you know, trying to work with the West and bending over backwards, understanding that you better get on a war footing, and it seems to be hardening Pakistan ahead of what's coming. I mean, is that an incorrect summation, and do you see any way out of this?
No, I think they have got to. It depends on the political decision that President Obama has to take, and I think he should take this decision before or around 1st of June so that his troops start withdrawing, as he had promised, so starting from 1st of July, so that their families can celebrate the return of their troops on 4th of July, which is your national day. So I think this ought to be the concern of President Obama, not the other way around, that you get more engaged and go into deeper and deeper morass. Now, Pakistan is naturally, of course, the mood is very belligerent in Pakistan. We think that we have been terribly betrayed. We have been betrayed in the past, but not to the extent that we have been betrayed now. We have suffered hugely on account of this phony war against terrorism, and Pakistan is now getting closer and closer to China and to Russia. This is the first time that Pakistan has reached out to Moscow. This is amazing now because it is the doing of Americans, because a country like Pakistan, who's been such a staunch ally and who's done so much of service to American being in the place where they are now, and if we are pushed into the lap of Russia and China wholly, I mean we go whole hog to this camp, then this is going to be a very major upset for the American strategy.
It's almost like someone wants to destroy America. I mean, looking at this from a geopolitical purview and studying all the different angles and different permutations, it's horrible for the West. It's horrible for freedom. It endangers the entire planet, and the stratagem is clearly, during this global depression, to try to launch at least a major regional war. General Hamid Gul, thank you so much for spending time with us and adding your considerable gravitas and acumen to our overall analysis. Thank you, General.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Samrik.
All right, there goes General Hamid Gul. Folks, the globalists already tried to start World War III with the Russians, and cooler heads prevailed when the Russians rolled nukes in Georgia, and somebody told Cheney, knock it off, and they pulled the NATO troops out. Again, I'm an American, but the globalists want to position us in this primitive, simple-minded, one-dimensional thinking of, well, if you're for America, let's have nuclear war with China and Russia. Woohoo! And let's get them Pakistanis. Pakistan's been our ally, folks. I mean, this is insane. And they've got al-qeada brigades all running over to Libya, openly run by the criminals that run our government. Our government has been taken over by globalists who want to destroy America, who want to destroy our economy, and who want to get us into wars while they finance our destruction, and then they end up on top sitting over in Europe. And I told you this for years because in the 30s we got some of the numbers on the Federal Reserve and haven't gotten them since. But you can also go separately study the Federal Reserve U.S. members and then who really owns them. And I told you most of it, more than 70% is what many of our experts have broken down, Ron Paul and others, is owned by European banks. I'm not bashing people in France or Germany or England. It's not about them. It's about the parasitic bank system that runs them, runs us, and you know, I mean, the global bankers put Hitler into power, financed him, financed Stalin, set that whole thing up. That's part of historical record. Goaded Hitler, told him he'd have support invading. The King of England was pro-Hitler. That's why they had Rudolf Hess fly over and try to parachute in and with a peace treaty, and they locked him up with no trial. He was saying, we got a peace treaty with you. We got an agreement. We don't want to go to war with you. That was a deputy Fuhrer, like the vice president, flying over. I mean, they will bring in World War III to get their world government on its ashes. That was always the plan. World War I, League of Nations. World War II, UN. World War III, world government. And, man, this is such a dangerous time. We'll be right